Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash and it's week 25 in the Premier League. It's the Premier League punters. I'm joined by Martin Green and by Matt. Matt's been with us for the last couple of weeks and I've put him under pressure this week because whatever his selections are, they're going on the record. So I'm going to come to you first, Matt. First of all, congratulations for going on record. Secondly, how did you go last week?
Last week was a tough one. My first week here, I started out 3-1, cashed a couple nice big underdog prices, and last week I was let down. Watford in that last second kick by Villa at Villa Park. I had them in a draw no bet. It would have been nice to get my money back, but I finished out 1-3 last week, so definitely looking for a bounce back here.
That's all right. 4-4 over the 2 weeks that you've been with us. Gives you to dip your toe into the water. We're taking your armbands off. Let's see how you swim this week. Tricky little card, but plenty of value, Martin.
Plenty of value on offer for sports bettors this week, Flash. Quite a lot of entertaining games. I think we should be in for a few goals this weekend because, lots of teams that are finding their feet in front of goal and some intriguing clashes ahead.
You say goals. I looked at 3 games and thought they were potential 0-0s. I haven't actually gone with a 0-0.
I'm going for both teams to score in.
Sorry?
I hope they're not the ones I'm going for both teams to score in.
Well, listen, I was going to say, with your record, I would rather be with you than me, although I've done all right in the last couple of weeks. Rafa, let's have a look at the record. Here we go. Profit, 34.9. Average price 2.44. You don't find that on any other service. We do La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A. We do NFL. 2.44 is the highest average. Can we look at the individuals, please? Dave, who does the articles, he's up 18.4 units. He's obviously doctored that. Flash, 8.9, 17.8 2 weeks ago. Now I'm on my way back. Let's see if we can get that in positive territory over the next few weeks. There's no rush. It's where I am in May. And Martin, 27.4 units. See what I mean, Martin? I'd rather be with you than me. And next week, we're going to have Matt on there. And if there's not enough room for the graphics, then Dave is going to go out the window. Okay, let's kick off. We're going to come with you, Matt. Straight in at the deep end. No armbands. Leicester 2.6 plus 160, draw 3.7, which is plus 270. Chelsea 2.75, which is plus 175. Wide open game this. Obviously, you look at it and go goals. Hard game midweek from a disappointing performance from Leicester. And Chelsea, you never know what you're going to get.
Exactly. I've backed Leicester here at a draw no bet. It was weird for me to see that Chelsea were favorites before about a couple days ago. It's almost like they assumed that Vardy was not going to be in the starting lineup for this fixture. I expect him to be there, and I sure hope that he is. Obviously, like you mentioned, coming off the midweek loss to Villa definitely hurts, but I'm looking for Leicester to bounce back here and to bounce back finally against a top 6 side. It's really key for Brendan Rodgers here to get the boys going against a top side. We're not going to see Tammy Abraham here for Chelsea. It looks like it's going to be Batshuayi leading the line. And Chelsea have really struggled to finish their chances this year. They create a lot of them, but they struggle to put them in the back of the net. We've got Kepa here in goal, who isn't high on confidence right now. He's had his struggles. At the King Power, Ndidi's back. Full Leicester 11 here. I expect them to be ready to go. Draw no bet, minus 114 or 1.88 for me.
1.88 Leicester, draw no bet. Okay, I thought you would have just gone Leicester straight win at 2.6 plus 160. I think I know where you're going to go with this, Martin, but you tell me first.
I'm not sure. I can't work out this game, I'm afraid, Flash. I was looking at both teams to score. I'll certainly put that in an accumulator because I think we should be in for a good open game here. But I can't call it on the outrights. Leicester have let me down a bit recently. They bounced back with a good win last time out, but I thought they beat Aston Villa in the League Cup in midweek, which was a very disappointing result for them. I was actually looking for a while at going Chelsea draw no bet. They've got a very good record against Leicester. Foxes haven't beaten them at the King Power since the title-winning season in 2015. But in the end, I just drew a line through it, and I've gone for a pass, I'm afraid, because I just have no idea how this one's going to go.
Well, they often say that the most sensible way is to pass. I'm actually going to go with the Alex Classic. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to lean on either side. I don't care who wins. I don't care if it's a 2-2 draw. I think it's going to be an open game. I think both teams are going to... It's going to be like the old basketball match that we used to talk about. You shoot, we shoot. I don't think there's going to be any midfield dominance. So I'm going to go with the Alex Classic at 1.91, which is minus 110. From an open game to an absolute six-pointer, which is weird to say when we're going to be the first day of February. Bournemouth 2.13, that's skinny at plus 113. The draw 3.7, which is plus 270. Aston Villa 3.6, plus 260. Martin, Villa must be overpriced after a massive win, and they're all going to be buoyed after what happened midweek.
They're going to be buoyed, certainly, after what happened midweek. I just wonder if they're going to be a little bit fatigued. Games come thick and fast in January, and these boys could do with a break. Been very impressed with Aston Villa's upturn in form in recent weeks, though. The relegation battle looks fascinating. Bournemouth, though, I think they've started to find their feet in front of goal. They found their shooting boots against Arsenal. OK, they lost 2-1, but... scored twice in a row now. Callum Wilson looks like he's getting back in business. I think they'll give Aston Villa a really good game in this one. Again, not sure who's going to win it on the outrights. I could see this being 1-1 or perhaps 2-1. So I'm going to go for both teams to score under 4.5 goals, 2.1. That's plus 110 in US odds.
So that's both teams to score and under 4.5?
Yeah.
Okay, at 110. What about you, Matt?
I'm on the both teams to score train, and then I just hope it kicks over the 2.5 here. I'm on the Classic. Villa's last 7 have seen both teams to score, and Bournemouth, like Martin mentioned, they're starting to find their feet in front of goal. Last 5 of 6 matches have seen over 2.5 goals. So when you put those together, I think that we're on. We have a high goal match here. I think it goes over 2.5, and we see a good classic, cracking match right there.
And what price have you got for the Alex Classic?
Minus 106.
Minus 106. Okay, well, this is one of the games I thought could well be 0-0, maybe 1-1. But I'm actually going to go for half-time draw at 2.3. I think it'll be a very cagey game where the two teams are going to be happy with a point. They cannot afford to get beaten. Listen, either here. This goes right down to the wire. I have actually put a ring around the draw at 3.7. I mean, everyone's going to turn up at 5 o'clock if this ends in a draw and go, how did we not go for the draw? Because this actually screams draw. I'm looking at 0-0 or 1-1 at half time. So I'm going to go with the draw at half time at 2.3. Now, a game that probably mirrors this game is the next one. Crystal Palace, 3.2 plus 220 at home is massive. Draw 3.16, which is plus 216. And Sheffield United at 2.56, which is plus 156. And favourites going to a place where no one likes going, Matt.
Totally. It's kind of like the same price that we saw with Southampton a few weeks ago. And we were all kind of like, why are Southampton favourites here? Sheffield have just got that grittiness to them. These are two teams, and I wanted to ask you too, Flash, which manager do you prefer here between the two?
Well, Chris Wilder is a very, very dear friend of mine. I mean, like a proper close friend. His number's in my phone book. He was my teammate twice, once at Charlton when he came on loan, and he was my teammate at Bradford City, and he used to live around the corner from me when I spent 4.5 years in Sheffield. So I'm biased, even though I'm Wednesday. I'm absolutely proud and over the moon with everything he's done. So, yeah, Chrissy Wilder every day. Yeah,
no, I would probably agree with that too. That's really cool. I think that the market has finally caught up with Sheffield, and it's noticed in that price. For me, it's a pass here. I lean under 2 goals. It's pretty square. It's pretty obvious. I think that it's going to be hard to find goals here. Maybe you throw something on a little 0-0 exacta or a 1-1 exacta, but other than that, for me, it's a pass.
Martin, I didn't think you'd ever be saying a 0-0 exacta or a 1-1 exacta.
Yeah, this looks like this is like a very low scoring game. I think I'm just going to have to pass on this one though. I just can't see the value in it. No idea which way it's going to go on the outrights. My bet would be under 2.5 goals, but odds of what 1.5 I think is the best you can get on it. It's just not really worth it for me. So I'm just going to swerve this one and move along to the next game.
Okay. I agree. I was so close to pulling the trigger on under 1.5. But I'm actually going to go with draw half-time again. I think it's another really, really tight game. Neither side scores bundles of goals. I think they could cancel each other out. I expect maybe 0-0 at half-time. So if anyone wanted to go under 1.5 goals in the first half, then I will certainly go that way. And it's 1.91, which is minus 110. So I'm more than happy to go draw half-time. So my last 2 games, I'm going to watch them for 45 minutes and I'll know my fate. Okay, Martin, Liverpool 1.33, which is minus 303. Draw 6.0, which is plus 500. Southampton, massive, 12.0, plus 1100. Liverpool off the back of a cosy 2-0 win against West Ham. And Southampton, well, no one knows what they're getting, but it's all good is what they're getting.
Yeah, very impressed with Southampton's form in recent weeks. Good bit of foresight not to get rid of Ralph Hasenhüttl when things were looking a bit dodgy. He's really generated an upturn in results there. They're looking good. But Liverpool do have a very, very strong record against Southampton. It's always an interesting game because so many former Saints play for Liverpool, but they always seem to get the job done against them. I fully expect them to do it this time around too. Every week I'm just betting Liverpool and under 4.5 goals, banker. It comes in every single time they play. They're the masters of grinding out low-scoring victories. Fully expect them to do it again. They're having a 2-week break after this. Jurgen Klopp said they're not going to put out any first-team players in the cup replay, so they can afford to go for it, give it their all. They know they're getting a bit of a rest. I think they'll battle until the last minute and probably win it 2-0, something like that. But yeah, I'm just going to go Liverpool and under 4.5 goals, 1.7. Keep it straightforward.
Which is minus what? 135? 130? Yeah, 135.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Matt? Liverpool now, they say that they've obviously got to just avoid defeat in maybe the next 6 games. And Man City, you've got to win every game. You think they beat Southampton comfortably?
I do. I've copied a page out of Martin's book here. I'm going Liverpool and under 4.5 goals as well at minus 135. It really is just an auto bet right now until it falls off the tracks. And I do love what Hasenhüttl is doing right now. They've been scoring goals. I can see Southampton scoring one. I looked at both teams to score here. It's pretty cheap, minus 108. It's at Anfield. I like what they've been doing, especially on the counter attack. Something that West Ham really struggled to do yesterday is provide any sort of venom on the counter attack. I think that Southampton have what it takes to get a goal here. But I think the under 4.5 is safe here, and I'm on the same bet as well.
Okay, well, it's a pass from me, only because of Southampton. I can't trust them. I go against them, they win. I go with them, they get beat. So I'm just going to leave it. Good luck to Liverpool. Absolutely imperious. I just love watching them. I love listening to the way they're all talking, and they're going to get exactly what they deserve at the end of this season. Okay, up to the northeast. Newcastle 2.25 plus 125. Draw 3.5 plus 250. And Norwich 3.45 plus 245. Matt, I'm going to come to you first. Norwich, they play for play's sake. They overplay. They want to be nice. They look like the Dutch side of the 70s, but without the goals or without the quality. So for me, I'm edging towards Newcastle.
Same. It's one of those. It's kind of a clash in styles here. You've got, like you mentioned, a Norwich side that wants to play free flowing, open attacking football versus a Steve Bruce side that wants to keep it tight at the back, don't allow anything. They've been very successful at home here. I believe it's 10 out of the last 12 at home. They're unbeaten. I can't pull the trigger on Newcastle at a plus price like this to win the match. I could see this ending in a draw. Norwich beat Newcastle the last time out 3-1 pretty comfortably. Surprised to see so many goals in that match. So that kind of kept me off of this one. So it's a pass for me.
Okay, Martin, what about you?
Yeah, funny you said about Norwich being like Holland of the 1970s. I think they could do with Johan Cruyff up front. They're lacking firepower, lacking bit of creativity. It's been their downfall all season. They have the worst away record in the league, which is pretty dreadful. We know that Newcastle get most of their points at St James's Park, turned it into a bit of a fortress under Steve Bruce. I think they've got the sixth best home record in the league, which is better than Arsenal, better than Chelsea, better than a lot of pretty big teams. So well done to them. Norwich have got a lot to play for, but I just still think that you don't get many opportunities on the ball at St James's Park, and I think Newcastle will win it. 2.3 home win.
Okay, it's my banker. I said I was leaning, but I was just sucking you in, really. It's my absolute banker. I've done an article on this game. In fact, I put it in a parlay. I'm not going to do a parlay because obviously I've already done that with the article. But Newcastle to win, I've got them bigger, stronger, quicker. And they're so disciplined at the back and they have a threat from set pieces. And I think they score a minimum of 2. Do I think Norwich can score 2? No, I don't. So I think Newcastle win minimum. I wouldn't put anyone off a really big one of Newcastle minus 1.5 on the age and handicap. I can see this being 2 or 3-0, maybe even 3-1. Okay, here's the next game that I did an article on. Watford, 2.88. We were 2.92 earlier on in the week at plus 188. Draw 3.36, which is plus 236. And Everton at 2.71, which is plus 171. Martin, I'll let you go first with this one.
Interesting game. Watford's momentum has been derailed a little bit in recent weeks, but they were playing really well under Nigel Pearson. That defeat to Aston Villa was a bitter pill to swallow because they did really well in that game and they just conceded a late goal to Villa. Tranmere game, I don't think they were really that bothered about it. I think they were happy to go out of the cup. You know, they've got bigger fish to fry. They're trying to beat the drop. Everton, they're a lot better at Goodison Park, aren't they, than on the road? So I think Watford will get back to picking up points in this game and start surging up the table again. I think they'll be a bit too strong for the Toffees in midfield. So I'm going to go for Watford draw no bet 2.01, which is plus 101.
Okay, I quite like that one. What about you, Matt? You like the Toffees or the Hornets?
I'm on the Hornets as well at a draw no bet. I think it's safe here. Like Martin said, yeah, that was pretty crushing at Villa Park. But I think that going out of the cup was smart, and I think it's time to refocus on the league here, just keep climbing up the table. I just haven't seen enough from Everton to really back them or warrant backing them on the road at all this season. And I'll continue to kind of fade that. Carlo Ancelotti, they've been okay. I think they did a good job, Everton, to reject Barcelona for Richarlison. I think that he's obviously a key player for them that if they want to keep building for the future. But for this weekend, I'll give it a go here with Watford at a draw no bet.
Okay, you've just sat on the fence. I've wrote an article about this, and I think that Decore and I think that Capoue are going to sit there. They're going to spray the ball around. Remember, Deulofeu used to play for Everton, so he's going to want to have the ball. I don't see Everton scoring. I was going to go Watford win to 0 and really get some value, but I just think I'm not going to complicate it. Watford 2.88, which is plus 188, and I've actually done that in a parlay with Newcastle at plus 225, plays 550. Watford, Deeney will out-battle I see the legs of the Watford midfield really stretching and asking. We've got comprising styles. We've got an all-out aggression, pressing and work ethic in Watford against a lethargic, can't be bothered, starts late, almost a little bit like Wolves. So for me, I get Watford, and I think that 2.88 is an absolute gift. But you boys at Draw No Bet, if I win at 2.88, you win at 2.01. Stinkiest game of the weekend now, this one. West Ham, 2.63, plus 163. The draw at 3.45, plus 2.45. And Brighton, 2.86, plus 186. Can't split them, Matt. Looks like a draw. Looks like a game where you just say pass.
Yes, I am saying pass. I think it's a 1-1. I do think that both teams get on the score sheet. If I had to take a play on this game, it would be both teams to score minus 140. I just did not like what I was seeing at all from West Ham yesterday. And Brighton a little bit more rest and ready. Yeah, this one does smell a bit. I could see Brighton maybe pulling something here. West Ham, I will not be backing them very much for the second half of this season.
No, I don't blame you. And yet, we've got short memories because it was only a couple of weeks ago. They won 4-0 at home. They were playing Liverpool. So do we take that into account, Martin?
Well, yeah, it's that 4-0 win over Bournemouth that worries me a little bit. That's pretty much their only good result that they've had. It was David Moyes' first game in charge, and they sort of upturn in mood there. But since then, the wheels have come straight back off. 4 defeats and a draw in 5 games. It's abysmal form. They're really in a relegation battle. But they are very good going forwards against lesser opposition. They've got some good players on the ball. But like Matt said, Brighton have had longer to rest. They're a bit of an unpredictable side as well, and also in terrible, terrible form. So wouldn't touch this game with a barge pole. I think the action's going pretty much evenly between either team and the draw. So that shows you that the betting public can't make their mind up. I'd advise just leaving this one alone and moving on to the next bet.
Couldn't agree more with the pair of you. I've gone with pass, straight through the middle of it. Pass, forget it, move on. Who cares anyway? Massive game at Old Trafford. Bruno Fernandes just signed. Not so sure that he's going to enjoy himself there for the rest of the season, but hey-ho. Man United, 2.28. That's a massive price if you like the Red Devils at plus 128. The draw, 3.3, plus 230. Wolves, 3.6, which is plus 260. Martin, we know that Matt loves to oppose Wolves first half. Do you want to oppose Wolves for the full 90 minutes, though?
Not really, to be honest, Flash. Wolves have got a very good record against Man United. Knocked them out of the Cup last year. Had a very good league record against them as well. Their first League Cup meeting this time around was a draw. Man United scraped the victory in the replay. But yeah, I do think that Wolves kind of have Man United's measure a little bit. Not really sure how this game's going to pan out, simply due to the unpredictability of Man United. You know, they just beat Man City in midweek, which nobody expected. They can hit teams on the counter-attack. Fernandes looks like an interesting signing because he seems like he plays in the role that Pogba plays in. So I guess that means Pogba's out in the summer. But yeah, I'm just going to have to leave this one alone as well, I'm afraid. Just if I was going to go for anything, I would go for the draw. Plus 230, I think you can get on the draw. But yeah, official pass from me.
Okay, what about you, Matt?
Yeah, I love this match. And I'm not going to oppose Wolves here in the first half like I have the past couple weeks. But I think that Martin hit it right on the nail. I think that Wolves have the United's number a little bit. I watched the replay a couple weeks ago, and I thought that Wolves deserved more from that match. I think that they win the battle here in midfield. I think there's more class in the midfield. This is going to be a huge matchup between Luke Shaw versus Adama Traore. Flash, you talk about all the time how Luke Shaw isn't really cut out for this right now, and now he's going to go up against the most improved player this season, I think, in the whole league. Fred is woeful in midfield. He's terrible. So it's not a bad signing, Bruno Fernandes, but we'll have to wait and see here. I think that Martin's right as well with him being the Pogba replacement. This is my best bet. This is my banker. I'm getting a head start here. I'll take Wolves plus a quarter of a goal here. So I'll start the match off ahead. I was tempted to take them on the money line here to win this match, but I'll play it a little bit safer.
So Wolves plus 0.25 goals. And what price is that?
Minus 105 or 1.95.
Okay. Well, I've done something that I don't normally do. I have to agree with you, Matt. I did actually write down, and I love it when I write my notes and then one of you say exactly what I've wrote. Wolves, too much midfield creativity, I've wrote. The pace, I don't expect Luke Shaw to play, to be honest. I think that young Williams has come in and done really well. Luke Shaw's just cheated his way through the last 18 months for me. Nowhere near the player that they bought. Doesn't get any crosses in. I think I looked it up a couple of weeks ago. I think he's ranked something like 60th in players putting balls into the box, when that's what his game's all about. He used to be a 400-metre runner, up and down all day long with a proper engine. Now he gets anywhere near the opposing half, he just goes backwards and sideways. So for me, I'm going to go with Wolves, draw no bet, at 2.65, which is plus 165. And I'm going to kick myself if Wolves go there and win comfortably 2-0. Remember, Burnley went there, won 2-0, an absolute canter. Burnley not even in the same league as Wolves. So Wolves, draw no bet, 2.65, plus 165. And talking of Burnley, that's where we're off to next. Turf Moor, Burnley 3.9 plus 290. That's a massive price for Burnley playing at home. Draw 3.6, which is plus 260. And Arsenal 2.06 plus 106. Martin, I'm going to come to you again because you're an Arsenal man. Anytime you get an Arsenal around, even money, away from home, it's a trap.
Could well be, Flash. Could well be. Certainly under Unai Emery, I think it was a trap. But I think there's a newfound resolve to Arsenal since Mikel Arteta's come in.
You keep saying that. They've not won a game.
Sorry?
They've not hardly ever won a game, have they?
Well, they beat the mighty Bournemouth on Monday night, which was a huge, huge win.
That was FA Cup. That was in the FA Cup, though.
The main thing for me, Flash, is that they haven't lost hardly any games. They've lost once, and that was only to a late sucker punch when Bernd Leno fell over, gifted Chelsea a goal, and then Arsenal's fitness ran out. Apart from that, they've been drawing pretty much every game, couple of wins. So I think they've got it in them to go and get a result up there. Not saying they're going to win. I think they'll concede. They've certainly got lots of defensive problems, lots of injuries. Shkodran Mustafi's the latest one out, although I'm not too bothered about that because it's dreadful. They brought in this new guy, Mari. Not sure if he's going to make the starting 11 in time. But yeah, I think Arsenal will concede. I think Arsenal will also score. I'm going for Arsenal and the draw, double chance in parlay with both teams to score. So Arsenal draw double chance and both teams to score at odds of 2.2, which is plus 120 in American odds. So as long as both teams to score and Arsenal don't lose, then I get paid.
Wow, so that's perfect for me. Before I go to Matt, let's say, if you like this video, subscribe, press the button, that makes sure you get notified. We're up to 61,000 subscribers now. And the reason I say that is because after that last bet of Martin's, you're going to need to go back and watch this video to actually write down what the bet actually was, because it's going to take me a while. It's Arsenal, double chance, both teams to score at 2.2 and plus 120. Matt, please tell me you've gone for a simpler way in this game.
I wanted to. It's a pass for me. I think that you mentioned, Arsenal at this even money price on the road. It has been a trap most weeks, and I wouldn't blame anyone for taking another draw here. I mean, Arsenal have I think 11 draws this season. It seems pretty fair to me. I also think that this match sees under 2.5 goals. I think that one thing that Arteta's done well is that he's at least brought in a good structure to this side where you've been seeing a lot of unders actually come in. But it kind of kept me off here with Aubameyang finally coming back this week after suspension. So it's a pass for me.
I don't blame you. I was going to go Burnley double chance. I thought that would be massive value. But in my heart, I'm actually cheering on Aubameyang. I'm cheering on Arteta to do a good job. I couldn't go near Arsenal, to be fair, just to win the game at 2.06. So I'm actually going to pass. I think to myself that there's better ways. If Arsenal go and win, then good luck. But I can definitely see Burnley getting something out of this game as well. Okay, last game, probably the biggest game of the weekend. Matt, I'm going to come to you. Spurs 6.0. Can't believe I'm saying that. What a massive price. Plus 500. Draw 4.75, which is plus 375. Man City 1.58, which is minus 171. Spurs in the final of the Champions League last year. Top four cemented. Now they're struggling just to get any sort of win.
Totally. And I think that's why they just dipped their toes a little bit into the January window to sign Steven Bergwijn from PSV. He's a great winger. I've watched him a few times for the Dutch side. This is a classic matchup of, how is Mourinho going to set up here? Is he going to try and spoil this party? And I think he might here. I think that we saw what the blueprint was last year in the Champions League between these two. It's going to be all about counterattacking from Spurs, and that's normally when they're at their best. No Harry Kane, obviously, so it's going to be a lot of wingers trying to fill in there. I've gone for a couple bets here. I think that the way that this sets up, it sets up actually as an underplay for me. Normally, you would think that this would be both teams to score over 2.5, and I couldn't blame anyone for that either. But for me, the way that this match sets up by Mourinho, I've gone under 3.25 goals at minus 115 here. So if it lands on 3, I win half my stake. And then I've also got another bet here, a fun one. I've got Heung-min Son, anytime goal scorer, plus 200. He was brutal against City last year. He was so clinical in the Champions League. He didn't score the last time that these two played, but he's going to be up for this one. As long as he gets a few good quality chances, I expect him to bury one and put one in the back of the net.
Okay, you're seeing the game a little bit different to me, and I wrote an article on this game. But Martin, what way do you think this game goes?
It's always an interesting clash when Mourinho and Guardiola come head to head. I think Mourinho will be well up for this game. He'll be planning his best way of thwarting Man City, but I do still think the Man City will probably eventually have too much firepower for Spurs. They were unlucky midweek. They had a lot of pressure, a lot of chances, still ended up losing to Man United. So I think they'll probably come into this game quite frustrated, want to prove that they can still turn it on going forward. Got lots of options in attack, and Tottenham's defence has been pretty leaky all season. I still think they can trouble Man City because I don't think Man City are great at the back either. Like Matt said, it's going to be interesting to see lots of wingers all charging about the pitch, trying to hit them on the counter-attack. I almost passed on this game, but in the end I decided to go for the Alex Classic, and I've got 1.79 I got on the both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, and in US odds that's minus 127. I think we'll be in for a good game here.
Okay, well I've got basically no midfield control from Spurs. I think the two boys in there, they're too far apart. They give the ball away. When they're too far apart, there's too big a gap from back to front. There's no front screen with Sissoko out. There's no changing defence into attack quick enough. No Harry Kane to hold the ball up to give the midfield a chance. So I look at it and think, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Sterling, Aguero, they're all going to get plenty of chances. So I've got two bets in this game. I'm going with Man City to score in both halves at 2 plus 100. And I'm going to go with Man City to win and both teams to score at 2.8, which is plus 180. I like both of them bets. I just think that the midfield, the game's going to be stretched for me. I think it's going to be one of those where they get caught out. Listen, everyone's been getting through Tottenham so easy. They signed the winger. Well, they've got wingers. They've got Lamela. They've got Song. They've got Lucas Moura. They need defenders, or they need a big, strong, athletic holding midfielder because Sissoko's out for the rest of the season. So for me, I think that they've gone and they've bought the wrong thing. I think you've sent them for a pint of milk and they've come back with a loaf of bread. So no good for me, that. Okay, Matt, run down your selections for me, please.
Yes, under 3.25 goals in that Spurs Man City match. Heung-min Son, anytime goal scorer, plus 200. I've got Watford at a draw no bet at evens. I have, Leicester at a draw no bet at minus 114 or 1.88. And and then my best bet, my banker, is Wolves plus a quarter of a goal to get a head start at Old Trafford and do something magical there.
Yeah, it's never good when you forget your banker, Matt. Martin, can you give me your list, please?
Sure. I'm going to go for both teams to score and under 4.5 goals in the Bournemouth versus Aston Villa game. Straight win for Newcastle at 2.3 when they host Norwich at St James's Park. Going for Watford draw no bet against Everton at 2.01. Liverpool in the under 4.5 goals when they take on Southampton. That's 1.7. Has to still be my banker because it keeps coming in. The bet that you loved was Arsenal in the draw double chance and both teams to score when they visit Turf Moor. And Alex Classic, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals in the Tottenham v Man City game. Matt seems to like it so much, he's run off to go and put some money on it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's got so keen there. I mean, I'm going to go with Leicester versus Chelsea, Alex Classic at 1.91, which is minus 110. Bournemouth versus Villa, draw half-time at 2.3. Palace and Sheffield United, draw half-time at 1.91, which is minus 110. Newcastle Norwich, Newcastle my banker at 2.25, which is plus 125. I think they'll be far too strong. Watford to beat Everton at 2.88, which is plus 188. Man United Wolves, I've gone with Wolves, draw no bet at 2.65, which is plus 165. And in the Spurs Man City game, I'm going with two bets. I'm going with Man City to score in both halves, which is 2.0, which is plus 100. And I'm going with Man City to win and both teams to score at 2.8, which is plus 180. Let's have a great weekend, gentlemen. Good luck, Matt, because this is your first week of going on the board. I think we've worked out you've got 4 selections. We'll be cheering them all on for you. Martin, keep up the good work. And I'll just hope that I have my 3rd winning week in a row and I can get myself closer to naught. I'll see you soon, gentlemen, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Flash.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Cheers, Matt. Cheers, Martin. So that's Martin and Matt gone through week 25 of the Premier League. Liverpool are out of sight. If it's a horse race, they'll be eased down to an absolute canter. But now, can they go unbeaten? We'll look forward to it. We'll see you again next week. You take care.